He's just like a brother to me. How my wife and her best friend gaslit me for years while maintaining a secret affair. The first time I felt like a stranger in my own life was at my own wedding. I was standing there in a charcoal suit I'd saved up for months to buy, waiting for Caroline to walk down the aisle, and then I saw him. Ethan was sitting in the front row, wearing a bespoke navy tuxedo that probably cost more than my first car. He didn't look like a guest, he looked like the man waiting for his turn. Throughout the entire reception, he was a permanent fixture at Caroline's side. He'd wrap his arm around her waist, pull her into brotherly hugs that lasted just a few seconds too long, and whisper jokes into her ear that made her flush a deep, radiant pink. When I finally got her away for our first dance, I whispered, "Don't you think Ethan is being a bit much tonight?" Caroline just laughed and squeezed my hand, saying, "Oliver, stop being so sensitive. He's been my best friend since we were 5. He's practically my brother." That brother excuse became the soundtrack of my marriage. For 3 years, Ethan was the third person in our bed, even when he wasn't physically there. He was the one she called when she had a bad day at work. He was the one who knew her favorite obscure Thai dish. He was the one who just happened to show up at our house with a bottle of wine the moment I had to stay late at the office. Every time I brought up how uncomfortable it made me, Caroline would turn it back on me, calling me insecure, controlling, or jealous of a bond I simply couldn't understand because I didn't grow up with a soulmate friend. The breaking point happened on a Tuesday. I was pulling a double shift at the hospital, exhausted and fueled by nothing but vending machine coffee. At 11:45 p.m., my phone buzzed in my pocket. It was a text from Caroline. "Hey babe, I'm at Ethan's house. We're gonna finish that movie series we started. Don't wait up. I'll probably just crash on his guest bed so I don't wake you when I get in. Love you." I stared at the screen until the light dimmed. My stomach did a slow, sickening roll. Midnight at another man's house isn't friendship, no matter how many childhood scrapbooks they had together. I didn't reply. I just walked out to the parking lot, got into my car, and drove. I didn't go home. I drove straight to Ethan's apartment. It was a luxury high-rise downtown, the kind of place a friend with a massive trust fund lives in while he waits to steal your life. When I got to his floor, the hallway was silent. I had a key. Caroline had insisted I have one in case of emergencies because they were family. I let myself in, my heart hammering against my ribs so hard I thought it might crack a bone. The living room was dark. The TV was off. There was no movie playing. I walked toward the master bedroom. The door was cracked open, a sleer of warm light spilling onto the hardwood floor. I heard Caroline's voice, but it wasn't the voice she used with me. It was soft, breathless, and filled with a terrifyingly familiar intimacy. Caroline said, "I hate lying to him, Ethan. I really do. But I can't lose this. I can't lose us." I pushed the door open. The sight was exactly what I'd been told for years was impossible. They weren't just sleeping with each other. They were tangled together in a way that spoke of years of practice. Ethan looked up, his eyes widening, but he didn't even have the decency to look ashamed. He just pulled the sheet over Caroline as she let out a small, sharp scream. Ethan said, "Oliver, man, just let us explain." I looked at my wife, the woman I had built a home with, and all I could see was the lie. I realized then that the expensive suit at the wedding hadn't been an attempt to outshine me, it was his way of claiming her in front of everyone. A silent victory lap while I played the role of the oblivious husband. Caroline was sobbing now, reaching out for me, saying, "Oliver, it's not what it looks like. We were just..." I cut her off. "Oliver, you were just what, Caroline? Being siblings? Being best friends? I've spent 3 years wondering if I was crazy. Thank you for finally proving that I'm not." I walked out. I didn't scream, I didn't break anything, and I didn't touch Ethan. The silence was the only thing I had left that belonged to me. I went home, packed a single suitcase, and was gone before the sun came up. The fallout was messy. Caroline tried the "it only happened once" defense, but Ethan, in a move of pure, calculated cruelty, told me the truth during the divorce proceedings. They had never stopped. They had been together before we met, during our engagement, and every single month of our marriage. He told me he'd waited for me to leave so they could finally be honest. 6 months later, the divorce was finalized. I lost the house, and I lost a lot of friends who fell for Caroline's "we just fell in love" narrative. But a year after that, I ran into an old mutual friend at a cafe. He looked at me with pity and told me that Ethan and Caroline were already over. Apparently, the magic of their secret romance died the moment it became a legitimate relationship. Without the thrill of the lie, without me there to play the victim, they had nothing but their own shared toxicity. Ethan had cheated on her with a girl he'd known since high school, and Caroline was left living in a small apartment, calling her mother every night crying about her soulmate betraying her. I'm sitting in a new apartment now in a different city. It's quiet here. I don't have to wonder who is texting my partner at midnight, and I don't have to compete with a ghost from the past. I learned the hard way that when someone tells you not to worry about the person who is just a friend, that is exactly when you should start running. I'm finally breathing again, and for the first time in years, the only person I'm looking out for is the man in the mirror. He's the only one who never lied to me,